All right, and we're live here at the Comedy Friend Club Studios. I'm Patrick Haggerty, and I'm here with the DJ of Comedy Fight Club, Jesse Montanez. Jesse, how's it going?
Chilling, brother.
Chilling.
DJ Latinx in the building.
DJ Latinx, that's right. DJ Latinx.
I don't know if I should go by my actual name or by my DJ name for Fight Club stuff,
Yeah, yeah. Right. No one knows you as Jesse Montanez.
No, literally no one knows me as Jesse.
Right, because for me, I'm the goofball of Comedy Fight Club, Patrick Haggerty.
Yeah.
When Matt introduces you, you are just DJ Latinx.
Yeah. And I kind of like it. I like that I'm like two different people.
Yeah. Who's that? Was it not Skrillex, but like who's the guy who wears like the space suit?
Oh, Deadmau5?
Deadmau5, yeah. So you're kind of like Deadmau5.
I put on the helmet.
Yeah.
And I become DJ Latinx. And I hit my eye carambas. And I'm just fucking going.
Yeah, you have a lot in common with Deadmau5, I'd say.
We're both Japanese.
Yeah, I've noticed that about you. That's one of the things I've noticed about you is that you're Japanese. So how you doing? Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh man, I've been doing good. I cleaned my apartment today.
Whoa,
which is a big deal.
That's huge.
I've been looking forward to it since like last week.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm gonna set aside some time and clean the fuck out of this place.
Well, so I have I have you lovely guests here at my abode, which gives me an excuse to also clean my apartment every Saturday.
Yeah,
it's nice. It's nice.
Right now that I'm like getting to an age where it's like it feels good. Yeah, to get in there and clean.
Well, it's shocking how much of a difference it makes. Where I think it's not that dirty, and then I do it. I'm like, whoa, this is so much nicer. Yeah, and what I love, it's like the physical embodiment of what I've done that I like is when I vacuum, and then the dust that's in the vacuum
is sitting there.
Is like, well, I have to empty the vacuum, right? Yeah. So I have to empty, and it's like a lot of dust.
Yeah.
I'd think, it's not going to be that much.
You have to touch the garbage that
just
you
one
didn't think
go,
was there.
1 week's worth of dust, and it's like fills it, and I have to dump it out, and it's very gratifying.
Right. It's I don't know what happens when you get to like a certain age, or you just can't. You gotta clean up.
Right. Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I would be like, "What's the big deal?
Live in filth.
Let's live in filth." Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know. I think you just like I think it bothers you, but at some point, I think as you get older, it bothers you more and more and more.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what happens as you get older. You just have like, a less of a buffer. You know how in Mortal Kombat, there's like you can punch someone, but it doesn't count yet.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't hurt their health, and then at some point it does start hurting their health.
Yeah.
I think you get less of the buffer health. And it just starts eating away at your life points.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, right? And that's what it is. Is just one inhale of dust is enough to be like, I'm sick for the next 2 days.
Yeah. It's like drinking.
Shit. Yeah.
You remember when you started drinking? You were a monster.
Yeah.
You were ripping. You were finishing bottles in the night yourself.
Yeah, no big deal.
Drinking like 12 beers, and you got up in the morning and then you worked. And now if you drink even a little bit, you're like, I'm done. I'm in shambles, dude.
It's a different type of hangover. Like it used to be like, oh, my head hurts, but I was pretty much fine.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I was like, my arm doesn't work. You know?
Yeah. Did I have a stroke?
Yeah.
Like, babe, am I okay?
The left side of my body is a little bit slower than normal.
Yeah. It's insane how the fall off is so hard. Like we're so pitiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, especially when you get even that little bit of illness. So to your point about cleaning up, it's just about never letting yourself get to that point.
Yeah.
So
and everyone knows that all the elite roasters clean their room.
That's exactly right.
And that's why we're saying if you want to be an elite Comedy Fight Club roaster, you're in a clean environment.
Right.
You're dusting every day.
Yeah, that's right.
You're
comedy nice apartment club.
Yeah. Comedy clean apartment.
Well,
club.
that is one thing about Comedy Friend Club is that I will never steer the conversation into roast battles. So that's
okay.
It's gonna be very important about this show.
We don't talk about roasting at all.
Oh no.
Okay, good. Because
let me tell you. Unless you really want to.
I don't want it.
Unless you today had that as your main thought that you wanted to talk about today. a day that you're not at a roast battle.
Brother, I never talk about roast battles.
I hope not. I hope you don't.
I'm almost ashamed to do roast
to be
battles.
part of it at all. Oh yeah. Oh, me too. Yeah.
When people ask me about it, I go, just a thing I do on Sunday. Not like a big part.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, comedy. So even comedy, like being a comedian,
is embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, right? I like being funny. Being funny is a very natural desire of mine that I've always had, and so I'll go to like parties and I'll be like, I'm gonna be the funny guy, that's very important to me. Being a comedian is like, here I go,
Yeah. Well, it's I don't know. It's so
embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, I guess, now because we don't have anything yet. So you're just at work and they're like, oh, you do comedy, and you're like, yep, and I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I'm just a silly guy in my free time, and I also struggle to pay my bills.
Yeah. In a worse way because of comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy costs me money.
Yeah. If I wanted to, I could get a second job and get my shit together. But I'm too much of a silly goose in my free time. Yeah. I have to post videos online that no one likes.
Yeah. Yeah. Your side hustle, how your side hustle makes you like half of a livable wage. My side hustle sometimes makes me like $100 a month if I'm lucky.
Drains the bank account.
It drains the bank account because I'm only making $100 a month and I have to get to those shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's I fucking love it, dude. It's much fun.
I do love it. Yeah.
Like last night, I got heckled because I. You know what I do? I'm sometimes a little nasty.
Yeah.
And
you're a nasty goose sometimes.
Yeah.
You're a silly goose, but also you're a nasty.
Always
goose.
silly. But listen, the duality of a goose is sometimes he's silly.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're gonna get honked.
You got to protect your young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The goslings have to be protected.
Sometimes you got to honk. Yeah.
Don't fuck with me when I'm at the crosswalk. When I'm crossing the street.
Yeah, sometimes you're a goose and sometimes you're a gander.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
hell yeah. But and it was like guess the kind of person that like got mad.
Woman, like a white woman.
No, it was an old white man.
Oh wow!
It's like, dude, you're supposed to rule.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the best.
Right. You're supposed to be okay with everything I say.
Yeah. Why are you getting mad at anything?
Yeah, you're supposed to be mad that I'm not going farther.
Yeah, and it was like I don't know why.
What did you talk? What were you talking about?
I think you've heard this joke, but I basically have a joke how I won't hit my kids because I'm afraid they're going to be horny for punishment.
Yeah,
and I did it, and he was just, and I was like killing. I was killing.
Yeah. And
I stopped after that because I had planned after that joke. Maybe I was going to do new stuff. Maybe I was going to keep going.
Right.
So I asked the guy, how much time do I have left?
Uh-huh.
And the guy was like, say something funny. And I was like, dude, I was just killing. Like,
yeah.
Like everyone here has already decided I was killing. You can't just change it. You can't like gaslight us into having a bad time.
Right. Did you keep killing after?
Yeah,
it?
I just kept. I told a rape joke,
which is important. That's important for you as a comedian to keep killing when someone incorrectly states that you're not killing, even though you were killing. It can be easy for a less skilled comedian than yourself to let that be like, wait, am I not killing? Because you won't think that because you're a skilled comedian. The audience is definitely thinking that. They're thinking, wait, is he not killing? They'll think that for a second.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because it wasn't a big room. It was like 20 people.
Yeah.
So one person's not having a good time. They're like, am I not having a good time? Was I wrong this entire? Was this guy evil this entire time? And I didn't catch it yet.
5% of us aren't having a good time.
Exactly.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So, but yeah. So I was just like, I guess we have to double down, and I just went into like a rape joke.
Yeah.
And it worked.
It's all about rape jokes.
And I guess that's who I am, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
I really don't like it. I wish I wasn't like that.
Being such a nasty gander sometimes.
Yeah, I'm like a edgelord.
Edgelord.
It's truly like the thing I am, but I don't like try to be.
For sure.
It just is.
Yeah. But it's such a nice place to be able to walk the line of that edgelordness where you're like getting them to be like, oh shit, like because when you go to a comedy show and this is good because so here at Comedy Friend Club we talk about comedy, friendship, and clubs. Those are the main
big ones.
Those are the big ones.
So
we're talking about comedy right now. So comedy. People go to comedy shows, especially when they do it on purpose, and aren't tricked into being at a comedy show. They're going there to be adults. They're going there. A lot of them have kids, and they're like, I want to hear bad language. A lot of people go there to have their adult time. People do that for like bachelor parties, because they're thinking, oh, this is going to be crazy.
Because it is a completely adult environment.
Yes. Yeah,
it's you don't go to a comedy show thinking I might be able to take the kids.
Right.
You can't.
No, yeah.
It's just not something you're allowed to
unless
do.
It's very specifically a clean comedy show.
Yeah.
Which those exist and those are fine. Then go to that.
Also,
but if it's not,
we need that as a human.
Yeah.
The release of someone saying something that everyone's not allowed to say.
Right.
You're like, fuck, thank God that guy said it.
Yeah. He said this thing that I wasn't even thinking. I was just like feeling it in my bones that I'm not allowed to say anything. So for the most part, I think most people do really like that. They like hearing, oh, that's like that's pushing me to my limit, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good place to be. I think that it can be funny or it can be not funny, which that's what's most important. But even to that point, even if it's not funny, if it's appropriately like pushing people, I think that's even effective. People are gonna laugh at it if you're like just cursing in a time you're not supposed to be cursing.
Yeah,
people want to hear it.
Well, I think to quote Patrice O'Neal, is that comedy is half the people having like laughing their ass off and the other half terrified out of their mind.
Yeah.
Like that is kind of what comedy should be pressing. It shouldn't be safe. I feel like comedy now is very people, or like the internet, especially like the algorithms have pushed like very safe stuff to you. It's like attractive people being as safe as they can.
Right. I mean, the other stuff does exist. Like, there's corners of the internet and corners of social media where you can find.
But you gotta find
crazy shit. Yeah.
You go. Not the. I wouldn't say the funniest people have the biggest platforms at all times. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Like obviously, big funny guys get huge platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But there's guys who I think who are very, very funny and they just don't have like a massive platform.
Yeah. And then so I guess there's examples of both, because then there's plenty of people who aren't funny who do have big platforms.
Yeah, for
and you
sure.
think, oh shit, why does this person have such a big platform? I think it balances out where it's more in the correct side of it. So the percentage of funny comedians who have a platform or who are doing well it's like 90-10.
Yeah.
And then the percentage of it's worse than that. It's worse than the opposite of non-funny comedians, but it's still less than half.
Yeah,
so
I would agree.
It's like 30-70.
I would agree. You get what you kill.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about it.
Right.
But like in terms of pushing it, I just don't feel like it's the same.
Yeah.
They're not looking. That's not what's being looked for anymore.
The like push the pushy
like that guy
stuff.
who pushes. It's just not the same.
Oh yeah.
I think that game is kind of like gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to nail it. You have to be someone who isn't. If you're gonna not push, you have to be someone who's not pushing, but's also somehow still being really funny. So you do have to be funny. It's just that certain types of funny aren't gonna get through, or at least it's really hard for them to get through.
Yeah, I think we're just changing as like a society. Mm-hmm. I think overall, and it's not even a bad thing, I think we're all becoming a little bit more sensitive.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think you got to be just better if you're going to try it now, because it's just more sensitive. It's a harder thing to do, higher level of difficulty.
Yeah.
We're like, who are the guys that really try it now? Like try crazy stuff. I think that, in my opinion, the top guy, and I think a lot of people would disagree with me, is like Andrew Schultz. I think he's like the most flagrant, like tries insane shit. Like he'll do full on racist jokes.
Yeah.
to a sold out crowd and kill.
Right. Yeah, he'll push it. You know, I think Louis C.K. was doing it. Like now he's on the edge.
He's old man.
He's an old man now, so it's different. So, but he's still doing it. But he did it when he was
blaspheme God just last year.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
that Bible
good.
stuff.
Yeah,
that was
funny.
That was genius. That was one of the best bits of all time. But Andrew Schultz definitely does it. Also, he has plenty of jokes that are being racist and being pushing. And if you want to say he's not racist, he's just pushing the limits of what we already talk about. It's what we think about anyway, and the level of acceptable kind of prejudice that we all have, that we all are fine with. If someone is kind of like, oh yeah, that store owner does this thing that I notice, it's like, yeah, they all fucking do that. It's like, yeah, they do all fucking do that, so it's not that crazy to say things like that. And so saying it on stage shouldn't be any different than someone being like, oh yeah, that's just how they are. It's like, true, outside that,
but
same
there's
store.
Rules now. There's rules.
Now,
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people kind of hate on Schultz now. He had his moment, he popped, and then he got a little annoying for a while.
He got a little annoying,
but he's still one of the best.
Yeah, I think it's just easy. Well, he started out as an off the beaten path type guy, where he did those. He did the things on Instagram, I guess, or whatever, like where you have to turn your phone sideways so that he would fill the whole screen. And he did basically the Daily Show, just really pushing the limits more than the current Daily Show certainly is. And then so he became famous by pushing the limits, and then he becomes famous, and then now people are looking for reasons to bring him down. Which is kind of just what happens.
Well, I think sometimes you get full of yourself.
But I loved him. Like during the pandemic period,
he was killing. I thought even before he was killing it.
Yeah.
Like his first album, Views from the Cis, I think is one of the better.
When's that from?
I think that was like 2019.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, because he popped for like that album first. He was he started the clip culture of Instagram.
Yes.
Like that was the guy who started the clip culture.
Yeah.
And he dropped that album. It was very good. And then during the pandemic, he started that podcast and then the turn your phone thing.
Yeah.
And he became huge.
He became huge. If he did a special in 2019, that's obviously amazing, and like hopefully soon for us also. But but you can do one special and that kind of be it. There are plenty of comedians who did a special and it was really cool, and that was it. And they never really did anything.
Well, he does annoying stuff also.
Yeah.
Like the second special.
But just to finish that point, he went from that special and then he built on it by doing what he's doing with the podcast and the clips, and now he's entrenched. Now he's one of the guys.
He's a kingmaker now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But also he just had a bad second special.
Yeah.
No one liked the other one.
Because he really wasn't a stand-up. He became mega famous not from stand-up. I like his clips, so I like his, which are shorter bursts, which is probably from him doing like 10, 15-minute sets at clubs, which is a whole lot easier to crush on than doing 45 to an hour. Crushing for 45 to an hour, even greats can't do that. Even some of the really, really good comedians of history can't really do that. So Schultz, I don't. Again, I'm not as big a Schultz fan as you seem to be. I knew Schultz from what he did during lockdown and stuff, where he was getting big from Instagram.
Yeah, he was killing.
He was getting big from short burst type stuff. So then a special, to me, I bet a lot of people knew him from that, and then they watched his special and they're like, this isn't only perfect, and then so it's not going to be quite as.
Here's where I think
good.
Schultz fucked up. One, he did the gayest thing of all time, which is extremely unlikable. Be like, oh, they're trying to cancel me. He did that because he had a deal with Amazon Prime to drop his special, and then he was like, oh, they wanted me to take some stuff out, but I won't do it.
Yeah,
and then he was like selling it online. So now he's the guy selling his special online. You got to buy it, which nobody likes. Nobody likes to buy comedy specials anymore. You drop them, and then that's kind of how the game is.
Yeah. Yep.
So he does that, and then we find out they weren't trying to cancel him.
Yeah.
That didn't happen at all. It was a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
And then I just felt like he he did it, I think, at the peak of fame, and you can tell like he's not connected to the crowd. He is like doing old material, and it's not really he does like Michael Jackson child molester material, and it's like 20 years ago maybe. Like,
or even at a particular club it'll crush, but you can't do that on your special. There's plenty of jokes that even jokes that I do that I can do in a certain room because I'm like, this is nowhere. I can do this here just to see what'll bounce off of people. Yeah. But if you do it in a special, that's like locked in now. Exactly. You can't do it there.
I think here's what happens, right? He gets so famous, and then you have like nothing to talk about for a little while.
Yeah.
Because you're just getting money and like going on vacation.
Yeah.
So he's like, Tiger King, and fucking no one cares about Tiger King anymore.
Yeah.
Like who the fuck cares?
And the ones who keep with the times to a certain degree are the ones who have kids, where having kids is a universal thing. And a lot, so like Louis C.K., even Sebastian Maniscalco, like so there's plenty of comedians who are able to just talk about their kids, and even if you're rich and famous, your kids are still shitty.
Your kids are still your kids.
Yeah, their kids are still your kids. So there's a connection that you're able to make quickly.
But I think Schultz is gonna make a comeback. I really do.
I mean, he's still doing his thing.
Did you see that he did like a 4-minute chunk on Diddy in LA? That fucking that was like to write that in like one day. And put it out and have it kill, and then do it in front of like an arena of people.
Right.
Big balls move.
Yeah. Well, and that's the way to become famous in general, is you find that topical thing and then you nail it. And again, it has to be like the next day. So you nail that thing, and then from his perspective, he's not looking to become famous. He's just looking to stay at the same level that he's at, like for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And so to your point, he might have had a downturn, but then as long as he does what he did with that Diddy stuff, as long as he does that once every 6 months, he'll be fine. And then everything else will just kind of carry. He'll just ride the wave.
I think the thing that happens when you do like a podcast, you're on the internet a lot. I think people get tired of you over time because they're seeing you every week, so they see the flaws in you.
Yeah.
No one's a perfect person.
Yeah.
And the thing with Andrew Schultz is he is annoying.
Yeah.
But
talk about your difficulties with your father.
Yeah,
It's like no, I'm doing a stand-up show.
Yeah. But you can't take it from Schultz. He's like one of the best stand-ups. He is a little annoying.
Yeah.
But he's one of the best.
He's a really good stand-up. Yeah. His podcast, to me, I consider it like a little. Yeah, it's like a round table of cool guys.
Yeah, it's a cool guy show.
Yeah, it's a cool guy show.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of cool guys. I'm like, fucking these cool guys.
Yeah, sneaker guys.
Yeah, sneaker guys.
Guys who know their sneakers.
Guys who wear like the best hoodies. It's fucking
what
stupid.
kind of sneakers are you wearing, dude? It's kind of like that show.
Right.
And
then his stand-up is actually like punchy and like good.
Intelligent.
And like actually like pushes the boundaries. And then his podcast is like, so what do you think, man?
Yeah.
He's like,
But I think one, you got to do that for your fan.
Of course.
You like if bros are listening to your shit, you have to
be bros.
You got to be broy.
You have to have 5 bros being bros. Yeah.
Because you just listen. You got to sell. You got to fucking Once you get a demographic, you have to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. It's just cheesy. Like podcasts are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But people absorb it, and it just allows them to have something to listen to while they take the train.
Luckily, we have the retard incel fan base, so we don't have to change it all.
Yeah. Right. We'll just keep being retard incels. I think that I prefer that anyway. So that's the comedy portion of the show.
Yeah. Is that what you think your fan base is going to be? Retard incels?
I mean, probably. Well, Comedy Fight Club is retard incels. For sure.
Yeah.
That's the people who connect with it. But then there's also
you guys.
I guess on top of that would be
you guys who are listening.
Yeah. But then on top of that would be comedians.
Yeah.
So that's one thing they have to, even like Shane Gillis and other and who we were just talking about for 20 minutes.
Andrew Schultz.
Andrew Schultz is another one who their fans. If they're doing like a big arena, there's probably like 50 to 100 comedians.
Open mic comics.
Yeah, open mic
sure,
comics.
For
like,
sure.
There's a lot of comedians there. And then even aside from that, there's probably another 100 who really want to try.
Wish they could.
Who wish they could really legitimately. I know plenty of people who are fans of comedy who have no inclination to become a comedian. But everybody who is the other side, who does comedy or has an inclination to be a comedian, they're watching Andrew Schultz and Shane Gillis and people like that. Like that's who they're, especially the bros of that.
I think everyone thinks they can do it one time,
right?
You know, but I mean, it's not like a full on, like it's not a one time thing.
Yeah, it doesn't count at all.
I think the thing to get big like that is you got to get normies.
Yes.
Like when you're like a Shane or like a Andrew Schultz, they've grabbed normies.
Yeah.
I think all of us can kind of grab comics.
Yes.
Because we're comics, we speak comedy. You know, there are people who want to hear that. But to grab like a normie,
right?
Like I after the show yesterday, we went to like a Chevy's.
Yeah.
And it was karaoke night, and I was like a pig in shit watching the normal people do karaoke.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are the people that I need to get into me.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't, because you know, most of your time as like we're comedians, it's spent working, doing your actual job, and then you leave, and you go and hang out with psychos and do comedy, all night, and you actually don't really talk to normal people, like at all. You don't have any connection to normal people, and I think. I like watching the people do karaoke. Like I loved watching it.
Yeah. Well, like I guess specifically to Comedy Fight Club, it has like a handful of regular guy fans who are just like, "Hey, great job, guys."
Yeah,
you know, they're just like, "Man, you guys are doing such
just regular guys."
Yeah, just regular dudes. So they're around. Yeah, but it's your point.
You got to get those people who do karaoke on a Friday and convince them to come out.
That's why it's good to have a good relationship with your family as a comedian, because that's one of the few times
your
where
first fans.
Yeah. And then so you have your family, and then the people who you like connect with through your family are all regular guys.
Yeah.
You know, like so, and then I play softball on Sundays. Bunch of regular guys.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's a good advice for a comedian is do like
have actual friend groups.
Yeah, or at least like just activities that you're doing with regular people.
Yeah, to keep you normal.
Right.
Because these motherfuckers are not normal.
Right.
You hang out around comics all the time. You end up like not funny, kind of.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
You end up viciously not funny.
Right.
Because you don't actually talk about anything.
Yes.
And it's you got to be with the normals every once in a while. You got to be around normal people.
Absolutely. Well, and then even for one thing, our audiences are normal people. So
not always. Some of us have retard incel audience.
That's maybe our. You think retard incels are not normal people?
Some of them, but some of them, but they're like I think they're the worst.
They're right in between. They have the social awkwardness of a comedian without the comedic timing.
Yeah, they have not. They have their comedian with no positives,
with no jokes, or even they haven't even done comedy. They're comedians who haven't done comedy.
Yeah, like I opened for Mike Racine, and I think his audience is retarded.
Oh well, he's
because there was like 5 guys there, like they all bought single tickets.
Yeah,
and they were just like fat white guys.
Wait, it was only a 5-person audience?
No, it was like 20 people.
Okay.
He sold really great.
Yeah, it was
for like a tiny room.
Right.
He sold the motherfucker out. But I was like, damn, he has a retard inside.
For sure.
That Come Town.
There were 5 single guys there at least. Right? Yeah.
Like that Come Town audience, where you sold 40 tickets, but it's like 40 single tables.
Yeah. Right.
Which is the worst. That's the worst. I think that's what I don't want.
And then even the ones where it's not single tables, it's like a couple buds.
Yeah.
We're like, we're best friends and we're our only friends.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A group of 5 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want a fan base of dudes who get pussy. That's the only thing I think.
Yeah. That's tough.
The difference between being normal and not normal.
Right. That's tough, dude. That's tough. No, those exist though for like the. So we're talking about this world of the incel guys, the incel fans. The the evolution of them are just the bros who are in committed relationships.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Because
that's a Shane Gillis fan.
Yeah.
That's an Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
You know.
But they're like very similar. They don't. They're not that dissimilar. The incels and the bros in committed relationships.
Here's where I would put it. All right. So like a Nick Mullen has like an incel retard fan base, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like a guy like Joe List.
Right.
Who is funny and probably gets and has normal people who are married, but also has a strong retard incel fan base.
Yeah.
You know, like
yes.
he's like that.
Right.
And then there's like Schultz.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you know, like
the one that's, and maybe the main difference is that like these guys have the fans who would be retard incels, except they're like good looking.
Yeah,
they're like actually pretty good looking. So they're like weirdos, but they're like, oh yeah, that's a good looking guy.
Yeah.
So
and then there's the final worst fan actually, which is a Bert Kreischer fan.
Yes,
the worst, dumbest people.
I don't even know what I'm picturing his crowds as being
him. It has to be him.
It's 1,000 people who look just like him.
Yeah, with hot girls. That's what I'm imagining. It's a whole bunch of dudes who look like Bert Kreischer and then their wives.
Guys who like drive trucks and wear sunglasses and have a really hot wife.
Yeah.
Who live in like Alabama.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which is probably, damn, Bert Kreischer's eating it up.
Yeah.
He really is rich as fuck. He's living it up,
right,
dude.
Right. Well,
I am truly hating.
And he has his circle of fans, and it does seem like no one else likes him at all. It seems like he's actually this generation's like what's his name, Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
Where it's like
absolutely,
it's like, hey
great
man,
call.
all the power to him. He has his fan base and they really love him, but everyone else thinks that guy fucking is not good.
Yeah. In my opinion, he's not bad. He's just like Nickelback.
Yeah.
You know, where it's not for you. It's like, but in Kansas, he's selling out every show,
crushing. And the same guys are just coming to every single show, like, you know, and they're big fans. They're real.
They want to see him take off his shirt.
Yeah.
They want to see him drink. You know, they want to get a shot with him and drink. They want to fucking hear the story. Yeah. They just love him.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, and I think I actually had an interesting experience with the height of the Larry the Cable Guy fame, where when I was younger, I thought, what the fuck are people going on about this guy? He's the worst. And then I got old.
I always thought he was kind of funny.
Okay. I like him in Cars. I actually like him in his movies.
Yeah, he's great.
Because he's in a couple other movies too where I'm like, oh, actually, he's pretty good in the movies. He's a great character. Mm-hmm. And that's and to that point, when I was younger, I did not like him at all. When I got older, I definitely started understanding why people liked him, especially as I was gearing up to do comedy. You know, I wasn't doing comedy yet, but I was like, I'm going to do comedy. You know, like when I was 16, I'd say I was like, I'm going to do comedy. Like, you know, at some point I'll get into it. So at that point, I was thinking, oh yeah, he has his fan base, and that fan base really likes him. So objectively speaking, he's good because he has this fan base. And then even farther to that point, it's like, oh, you just have to watch him and just enjoy that he's what he's. Yeah, yes, he's playing up this version of that's not quite him, but it is also him.
Yeah,
it's like 20% play up. You know, and that's kind of what all comedy is that this is a little bit more of a version of this guy, but not by that much.
So here's what I've noticed with comedy. There's like two types of fans. There's people who have fans who are exactly like them.
Yeah.
You know, like I've seen a couple Chris Gethard shows. And Chris Gethard, who is a funny comic, his fan base is just guys who look like him, like white guys with glasses who talk with NPR voices, like skinny, nerdy white guys. That's his fan base. It looks just like him, you know?
Right.
Same thing with Bert, where it's like, it's just dudes just like Bert.
Yeah.
Or it's this is a really funny guy. Or it's like a Mark Normand.
Yeah.
There's not a whole bunch of autistic Mark Normands, but you know, it's like, it's kind of just like, well, this guy's a really funny, you know, like a Dave Attell.
Yeah.
You gotta find the group of people that you would hang out with.
Yeah, because if anything, I don't think that Mark Normand does have very many fans who are like him.
No,
you know, like from what I've experienced.
Who's that?
Well, they exist. They're just like weirdos. Like the non-funny version of Mark Normand is a really weird dude.
Yeah,
I've met plenty of those. Like they're just really weird, and they're not into comedy.
Yeah, let me tell you about Mark Normand.
Yeah,
because I've done a lot of shows. You know who brings the hot chicks to shows? Mark Norman.
Mark Norman. Yeah.
Mark hot chicks come out for Mark Norman.
Yeah.
That's also a thing.
Well, and that makes sense too because he's
you want that dude
approaching, good looking. He's like in that realm of good looking, and he's enough of a nerd where girls are like, oh, he's like a nerdy cute guy. Like that's a good ballpark to be in.
Yeah, you got that's. I think that's all. I can't just be the. I don't want to have like only guys.
Yeah. That's tough, dude. That's
and
tough.
I think that's my fan base.
Guys,
retard incel.
Without a doubt.
Guys.
Without a doubt. That's most comedians.
Yeah.
That's their main. That's most of their fan base.
Yeah.
Even going back a few years when we were younger, the skinny guy who says like he would say really offensive stuff all the time. Not Daniel Tosh, but same time period.
Jeselnik? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Anthony Jeselnik was purely for guys. I remember I
feel like girls love Jeselnik.
Maybe because he's good looking, but they hated the shit he said.
Yeah.
Like the
girls will laugh at that.
Right, but they hated the shit he said.
Yeah.
Like he would say things where girls were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because he would make abortion jokes all the time, rape jokes all the time. Which is wonderful. Like and Jeselnik's a cool one for me because he wasn't my favorite at the time, but I was always props for saying some of the most offensive shit imaginable. And it is So he was in that vein that I was kind of saying. It just seems like comedians, especially now, and it's even more now, where they're all they have a mass of dudes as their fans. Like Shane Gillis has a huge amount of dudes.
Most of your fan base is going to be guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you definitely listen. I don't know. Like Matt Rife, where he's like mostly a girl fan base, and he seems to hate it.
Right.
I don't understand that.
Yeah. Right. Well, even there's an Anthony Jeselnik, him talking about Matt Rife and how it's like, dude, you have girls as your fans, just accept it. Like you're not going to be one of those cool guys who has a bunch of guys. Which isn't that weird?
Better.
Isn't that weird that it's considered to be cool when you have all dudes as your fans, and that's your entire fan
dudes,
base?
yeah.
To dudes, it's cool to have a bunch of dudes as your fans, or especially as the outward dudes. Dudes also are most of comedy fans. So if you're Matt Rife and your main fans are women, then most of the comedy fans are going to be like, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
Because most of the comedy fans are dudes.
I wouldn't care so much, dude. Because women fans are better.
Yeah.
They love you more.
They're more supportive.
Way more supportive.
Like Dane Cook became huge off of 100%
ladies,
women.
Yeah. And then they buy shit more than dudes. Yeah. Dudes don't buy shit. They suck. Right. They want it for free. They take and they don't fucking help out.
Yeah.
I want all lady fans. I want to.
Good luck, dude.
People hate Drake.
Yeah.
But Drake that's why Drake's so big.
Yeah. Right.
His female fans. That's what holds him over.
Yeah. But it's hard because as we were trying to become funny when we were 5 years old, when we really started like trying to hit the points of being funny guys, at starting around kindergarten, we were always trying to make the dudes laugh. It was always like all the girls is like, oh yeah, like if you find it funny, that's a bonus, but it's all about making the guys laugh.
It's always about making the boys laugh.
Making the boys laugh.
But I don't know. It's like that's a good.
It's hard. It's hard to redirect.
I understand why it could bug you.
I'll say this: before I consider myself to now be pretty good as a comedian. Before I was good, I was much more popular with female audience members because they don't fucking know. They don't know what's funny, so I'd say as I get funnier,
I think they like personality a lot more than,
right
they can become a fan of an endearing personality.
They can see past
your
terrible jokes a little bit.
They're like, but he's a good guy,
right. So if you're any good, then your fan base will be men.
No, I think what bothered Matt Rife was that he had been doing comedy forever.
Right.
Like banging at it, and then he hits, like he loses some weight. I don't know. Maybe he gets, some people say he got plastic surgery. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's handsome now, and he just gains popularity like so fast.
Yeah.
You know?
from the women,
from the ladies, and I feel like he feels like people are looking past him because he has girl fans. He's like, no, I'm funny. I think he still wants to prove he's funny.
Right.
But I don't think you have to.
Yeah, definitely not.
You know?
Yeah, you definitely don't have to, but also you eventually he'll totally fall off a cliff. Unless he keeps getting plastic surgery, then he'll stay good looking. But once he even loses a little bit of his looks, then he won't be famous anymore.
Yeah.
Like it'll change. Dane Cook is now still touring, right?
Yeah.
But nobody knows what the fuck he's up to.
Yeah, his fan base is a quarter of the size of what he.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Because he's an old man now. Because he's old.
Make the money you can right now.
Yeah.
I don't.
And also, Dane Cook's probably still making good money. He's probably still like making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year off of comedy because.
It's probably not the millions he made.
He was making millions
hot,
before, right?
You know?
Yeah.
But in my opinion, like the reason I really want to do comedy more than anything, I just want the money.
Right. Yeah.
Like I want the money,
right?
And if I get the money, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not gonna be one of those guys.
Right.
If I get the money, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm gone.
Oh yeah.
You know, like how Jerry Seinfeld still does like
stand up.
I don't think I can do that.
Right.
I think if I get the money, I'm just gonna go.
Well, right, but you would have to get the money from doing something other than stand up in order to leave stand up.
Not. I mean, if I become a big anything, I think I don't want to do stand up anymore.
Right. Like a big podcaster, for instance, or like getting on a TV show.
Because I think you just don't get funny. I don't think being rich lends itself to being funny or relatable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But the issue is you'd have to become mega huge. You have to become an actor. Or something. You'd have to become something else and make money there, because the amount of money you'd need to make to just like leave working it's pretty astronomical.
But what if you're like a hot stand-up and you made $20 million in 5 years? You don't need to do anything. You're done.
Yeah.
You've made it. You've made $20 million. Congratulations. Right. You can.
So if like Kevin Hart, like if you were Kevin Hart, you'd quit.
Or I wouldn't. Maybe I wouldn't do stand up. I would just start doing different projects, like different things I wanted to do.
That's kind of what he's doing.
But like, I'm not doing stand up anymore.
Yeah.
How the fuck can I relate?
Yeah.
I'm $200 million in. I fucking wake up in a beautiful house.
Yeah. No. That I get. That's fair. You know. And even Kevin Hart kind of does. He does a lot of commercials right now.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
He hasn't done a special in a while.
No.
And it's probably because.
Why can you?
The most recent specials he was doing were like, you're just a rich guy. You know, all he could talk about was being rich.
He's a mega rich guy.
He's a mega super rich guy.
Yeah, like
he hangs out with LeBron and Shaq.
Yeah, it's not funny how rich he is.
No, it can't be.
There's no way this can possibly funny things can be happening.
And he did kind of nail it, where he did a special at the absolute height of his fame, where he probably made a whole lot of money doing that. He's like Floyd Mayweather, where he did like one last thing, and everyone's like, Floyd Mayweather's not even a fucking boxer anymore. Yeah, and he's like, that's right, goodbye.
Yeah, and he was like, all right,
you're absolutely right.
You caught me.
Yeah,
you've caught me. I'm gonna go.
Thank you for this $33 million purse that you just gave me.
Yeah, so I think once you get too big, you got to step back for a long time.
Yeah.
Because you have the money.
Be like Floyd Mayweather. Just do it. Do your thing once every 3 years. Make millions and millions of dollars each time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I'm not a fame guy. I don't really care for like.
Oh yeah. No, I
actually love being left alone. I love I don't want to be harassed or bothered.
I really like comedy, and I really like writing. So I like being a comedic. I like creating, I guess you could call it, if you want to be gay about it. But I want to get just famous enough to get a writing job and then be a writer. Like I want to, any of the platforms, like any pushing forward our faces, to me is just enough to. These days, that's just how show business works. Is you have to already be famous in order to jump into the world of actually working, you know?
Yeah, you do have to like write a line, and then someone has to see it and be like, all right, you're working for me now, you know?
Yeah.
It's literally how it works now.
I want to get a job. Like, if I want to get a writing job. That's what I want, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could write. I think I could, but the one thing that does scare me about stand up is like always traveling. That sounds annoying as hell.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's why like these days it's conducive to the blue collar lifestyle. Like the guys who
that's why podcasting
who
is so
run
big.
a podcast. Like you run a podcast and make $50,000 a year off a podcast. It's like cool. You know, that's good. And then you do like close by theaters, like you go to Philly and you do some traveling but not crazy traveling, and that's it.
Yeah, like
pretty good.
It's because that's the thing. The actual work of being a stand-up is totally forgotten by so many people.
Yeah.
The messaging, the meetings, the setting up flights.
Yeah.
Going there, being in Tacoma, Washington.
Right. Yeah, I did like a couple shows recently, one in Delaware and Maryland.
Yeah.
And then the following week after like the second of those, I was like, ugh. I was like I was torn up.
Yeah.
I was just so tired. It especially we're working full-time jobs, like so we're you have a certain amount of energy stores that you can muster.
I mean, I'm sure it's easier like when you don't have the full-time job, but still like I've traveled enough to be like, damn, it is very draining.
Yeah.
To like always be traveling like that.
Right. And it's also fun, to do it here and there.
I think it's fun to travel to certain places.
Right.
But there's no way going to Kansas City is like dope.
I guess it could be. It's hard to make anything dope when it's still a business trip.
Yeah.
You're going there and it's like we kind of have to like make sure.
I think you could. If we're going to Japan for a comedy show.
For a comedy show, yeah.
Then you would be like, "Oh, this is the best. I'm gonna have the best vacation."
Right.
But going to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, I've been to Albuquerque.
It's a nice town. It's a nice town, but you can't tell me
good Mexican food.
You can't tell me that you're gonna fucking have the time of your life in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Right.
You're gonna want most of the time is gonna be sent inside the hotel.
Yeah.
Like flipping through TV.
Well, yeah. Unless you're like looking to get plastered. And kind of what we said before, we're too old to really do that anymore.
Yeah. Unless you're a dog. Sometimes there's some real dogs out there.
Yeah. There's plenty of dogs.
There's some junkyard dogs.
There's some dogs out there.
Who could still do it.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so you'd have to, me and the Staten Island guys. This is years ago now though. I was still in my 20s, so it was a different mode of body type, right?
Yeah.
Like a different ability that I had. But we would go on trips to a lot of was in New England, like New Hampshire, a bunch, Massachusetts, even Connecticut, and we would stay the night. And we just get plastered in the room. We would like drink a bunch of beers and be like, "We're fucking comedians, yeah." Each making like $23, and we'd have to spend all of it to get back.
You went in the red.
Yeah, right. Oh, without a doubt, we'd lose money. And then, but we did that, and it's like, yeah, this is awesome. But now it's like, well, if I'm nearby, if I'm close enough to just get home, that way I can pocket this money and not have to spend it on a hotel. It's like I'm doing that. So. Yeah. I like doing comedy. To me, comedy is fun. Like going to Comedy Fight Club every Sunday is actually fun for me, and like I like performing and hanging out with everybody during the show.
Business is gay.
Once the show's over, I'm fucking out of there. Because I'm like, hey, this is to make this really worth it. I gotta be like in and out, back and forth. And if I make some money, then I have to leave, and like just that's like. I have that money.
Yeah, but it sucks because like I feel like you got to do like business stuff, but the fun part of comedy you get to do less and less and less.
Yeah,
as the business stuff adds up, you're just the hanging out, the bullshitting, the talking, like all that fun stuff that you really want to do. It like goes away and away and away and away as you're like the responsibility goes up.
For sure. Oh yeah, that's no doubt about that. Like I just ran a show. You're on the next one, but I just ran a show. This past Wednesday, and I mean it was cool because I got to see a bunch of comics who I haven't seen in a bit. So I was like, so I was able to hang. I had a beer. I hung out. It was all like work technically, because I'm running the show. So hanging out and making sure everyone's having a decent time is like part of the gig. It's part of the job. But it is fun. I mean, like, yeah, it's part of the job, but that's a pretty good job.
Yeah.
You know, like it's what I'd prefer to do.
Yeah.
Than my real job. You know, like so. It can be both. Like even Comedy Fight Club. Yeah, when I'm there, so I get there right on time. Right. Mm-hmm. It starts a half hour late. But so that
at least
a half hour late. I get there and we're all hanging out. We're all like chatting it up for that bit beforehand. Show happens. Even to me, for me, I heckle all the time, so I can still talk. Like it's not just watching a show. I'm participating, and then I'm obviously in the show and all that. So to me, that's still like interacting and kind of communicating and hanging out with everybody and fucking around, and then I'm out of there. Like so to your point about the hang being less and less as the work gets more, I just turn the show and turn all the work into a hang. Like it's I just try to make it into one big hang. To me, comedy is a hang. You know, even aside from the hang.
You remember when you started?
Oh, it was
hang.
Comedy was you did an open mic, and the open mic lasted 2 hours.
And then you stayed out till
and then you
2 a.m.
Stayed out till 2 a.m. Yeah,
that was the best.
It was awesome.
Like I still love doing that.
That's really, like I did Laughing Buddha, and we would stay. We would start at 6 o'clock, and then the last open mic ended at midnight, and then we'd stay out till 2 a.m.
Yeah. It was the best.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's why I love like you when you work at a club, you just meet certain comics, and they're the spirit of that, and then other comics are just totally not.
Yeah.
You know, like tonight is Willie Barcena night, and Willie is the man. He'll like stay out till 3 a.m. with all the comics. Like that's just what he's like,
right?
You know, and the spirit the spirit of comedy lives in him.
Yeah,
you know, just like everyone. Like you're in the back. He's like, how dare everyone not be getting shit-faced drunk right now? You know, it's after the show. How are we not getting shit-faced drunk right now? We're staying till 3 a.m.
Oh yeah.
You know, like those. I now that I've seen so much comedy, I've met so much comics. I know who I am, and like I know who I don't want to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you ever done a show with like a big comic and they're just like on the phone like and they leave immediately, you know, like very squarely. That's and you feel everyone feels terrible, you know, like you gotta, I don't know.
No, that's the worst. Like it's one thing to leave after the show, but just hang out. Like while you're there, why wouldn't you want to buddy up with everybody?
But listen, everybody's different, you know.
Yeah.
But I know who I want to be.
Yeah.
You know,
who do you want to be?
I want to be I want to be there in the spirit of comedy.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I want to be in the back till 2 a.m.
Oh yeah.
Shit stories.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the, you know, even as of right now. And I think a lot of comedians that I've met over the years you become blue collar guys. You know, you become, just grab my lunch pail, do my set, collect my $200, and then head on home. You know, like that's their job, and they treat it as such. In the moment, they're like schmoozing and they're having a good time, and then when the show's over, they're like, all right, off to the wife. You know, like they're working stiffs. A lot of comedians. Yeah. In order to get out of that, you need to have like a successful podcast that makes you a livable wage. So then comedy becomes the fun part.
Yeah.
If comedy is how you make your money, it's like this is fun.
That's when it's the
a
best.
Fun job.
Yeah.
Sure, but also it's like there's a tight margin of keeping this fun. I can't be spending $100 a night on drinks when I just only made $100.
Yeah.
You know, like
but I think sometimes you gotta.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta just stay out till 3 a.m.
Yes.
Bullshitting.
I agree with that. Yeah. Well, to me, the Staten Island, the Fitboro Comedy Festival is for sure that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you guys just get drunk and belligerent
for like 6 straight nights. Where it's just like, okay. There was one year in particular, I think might have been 2019, where it was really it got to the point where all of us on the Saturday were like, oh my god, like we were totally drunk, totally worn out.
But Fifth Borough is like it's a special event. It's pure debauchery.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I did the Stone Cold Steve Austin, like pouring beers on myself.
Because I love the young comics who got into Fifth Borough Comedy Fest and they are excited and they're nervous and then you guys are like pouring beer on your faces.
Yeah.
And you're letting you don't care. You try and get the customers to start heckling the comics. And they're up there. They don't know. They don't understand because they're so new and they're so green and nervous.
Yeah, yeah.
And you guys are you're actively trying to make it hard.
Yeah. That's what it's for. Yeah.
And it's so funny to see.
Yeah.
Because I was definitely like that when I started. You know, I was nervous and excited, and you guys were like, "Who fucking cares? Who cares?"
Are you talking about Steiny's at this past one, or?
I don't know. I feel like the last three.
You've done.
I've done so many.
You've done a bunch now. Yeah. Right. You were like, oh, this is like a festival. I gotta really.
Yeah.
I gotta really bring my A game.
Yeah.
And then we get there and we're all like blackout drunk.
Yeah.
So all the producers of the festival are like, getting fucked up.
I think it's like one of the funnest festivals.
Yeah, we always it's a really good time. Like, and we already have our Saturday scheduled this year, and that Saturday is always like, oh yeah, all of us are gonna get like shit faced. Like the other nights, a Thursday night, what can you really do? We'll have a few drinks, we'll have a good time, and then Friday night, even that, like, we'll like have a good time, but it's usually we're spread out a little bit. We have multiple shows going on. Usually what we do on the Saturdays is we have just one venue and we have like 5 shows in that one venue.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite night.
Yeah. And so we like
Project Comedy Mayhem.
Yeah. We start at 7 and we end at like 2 a.m., that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a real that's when it feels like a real festival.
Yeah. So I love it because you guys usually just start in a place and there's like there's patrons already there, and you guys just start the comedy show.
Yeah.
And usually, I would say for the first hour and 2 hours, the comics are getting battered by the patrons.
Yeah.
The patrons are faster, they're smarter, they're funnier.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're used to like talking shit at the bar.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because those guys are like. They live in New York, but they're from like Connecticut.
Yeah.
So they're not used to Staten Islanders.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not used to that brashness.
Right.
And they just get eaten alive.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny.
Because even the Staten Islanders who are audience members there, there's a good amount who come out for those shows, especially the festival shows.
And they're going to talk too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The people who come out for the shows, they're going to talk. And then there's another group of people who didn't quite know there was a show going on, but they're like awesome. They're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. There's a show.
But these guys don't know the Staten Island culture of shows, which is everyone gets to talk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then right, where not only will the drunk patrons and the audience members who kind of know the deal, not only will they talk, also the producers of the festival
are also going to heckle you.
Are also going to heckle you, and like throw stuff at you.
Yes, and, I love it. I love last time when they were doing that show where they just had topics.
Yeah,
and seeing the comics fall apart for that. While the audience was ripping them.
Right. But they were actually enjoying it. Like that.
No, the audience was having a great time. It was the comics who were having a bad time. But it was fucking...
Yeah. That's good.
It was art, dude. It was art.
I love that festival. It's a great festival. It's a great festival.
There's festivals where it's very professional and we're trying to move up in the industry.
Yeah.
And then there's the party festivals that are fun.
Oh yeah. Well, even I think the thing we're trying to be more like than those really professional ones, it would be Skankfest. We kind of have that.
You're way more Skankfest than Moon Tower.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like we're geared more towards the idea of Skankfest, where we're just like, oh yeah, this is a place for people to get absolutely shit faced, and then the comedians do your best, dude. You got on a festival. Like, this is a benefit.
Congrats.
To you. Congrats on getting on a festival. That's your reward. Now let's see what's up.
Yeah, exactly.
Now let's have a good time.
Now we get to have fun.
Yeah, right.
Now we're having fun. All right, so deal with it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's wrap it up. Any plugs you want to make? Any things you want to talk about?
Diablo Radio is my podcast.
Hell yeah, it is.
Jesse M Comic on Instagram. Not a White Supremacist 69 on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm out here just making stuff, doing shows, always posting up my stuff in the in the stories. You can find me anywhere. And I'm on Comedy Fight Clubs every Sunday with Pat.
Yeah, as the DJ Latinx, because you're a Latino who doesn't identify as any gender.
Exactly, genderless Latino.
Genderless Latino.
You don't see me on Comedy Fight Club. You only hear me.
That's right.
Only heard. Never
seen. Yeah. Talking about Ay Caramba.
Yeah.
And such.
Yeah, I need to get some new. I very badly need some new ones, but every time Matt's like, "Come on, get some new ones," I'm like,
yeah.
We got.
Well, Ay Caramba is nice, and also you don't need that many new ones. It's part of the beauty is to have that tag.
I kind of want to press the buttons as little as possible. I only want to do it if it's going bad. If they're roasting each other and it's good, then I want to stay out of it. Yeah, I don't want to be a part.
Which
of
I do. I love the way you do it, where you hit it when it really needs it.
Yeah,
as opposed to just every joke hitting it. Yeah. There are other DJs who will remain nameless. Also did a great job. The DJs have also always been really good. I think there's definitely a way to do it too much. Yeah, and you don't. I think you do it just.
I almost don't want to kind of be there.
Right. Yeah.
Because even sometimes when it bombs and it's quiet,
that's funny.
I still won't press. I will let it sit.
Well, and I appreciate that especially because I like heckling. So when there's too many drops, I'm like, fuck, like I couldn't.
Yeah, I don't want to, because one, I want to leave. I want to give the roasters space to get into each other, like have a back and forth.
Yeah.
And then I do want it to get awkward.
You want
sometimes
them to bomb
when
a little
it bombs.
Bit. Yeah. Well, I even as a pro heckler, at times I'm like, let's see what they do without a heckle.
Just nope, sit there.
Just let them sit flat. Flat.
And I think it's fucking. It's very fun, dude.
Yeah, that's right. See, there was a little Comedy Fight Club talk. All right, everybody, that's it for the show. Thank you guys all. Subscribe to this channel that you're on it. Click subscribe if you're watching this and haven't subscribed yet. Also, Patrick Haggerty Comedy on YouTube. Go check that out. Also, same name for my Instagram, Patrick Haggerty Comedy. But that's it, everybody. Good night.
What's up? It's the commissioner of Comedy Fight Club, the sleeveless wonder of the world, New York Times comedian, Matt Merritt, here to talk to you about Manscaped. You can go to manscaped.com right now, use the promo code CFC20 for free shipping and 20% off any of your orders worldwide. You can get the all-new Lawnmower 5.0. It is incredible. I just got it. It's the best razor I've ever had. Most of you who watch Comedy Fight Club probably don't get laid that often, so when you do, you want to make sure it looks great down there. You can get boxers, you can get deodorant, you can get grooming equipment for your beard, for your balls, for your ears. That's promo code CFC20 for 20% off and free shipping. If you love this show, you want to help Comedy Fight Club, go to manscaped.com, buy something, use the promo code CFC20. You'll be helping our show, and you'll be helping your balls. Now back to the show.